Head of state sends condolence to Queen. Use of force and violence raises questions. And Barrick CEO shares light on mines reopening.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Sunday's news. Governor General Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai has, on behalf of the nation, expressed his condolences to Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II on the passing of the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip. Grand Chief Sir Bob Dadai said the passing of Prince Philip is a sad day in history not only for the royal family but also the Commonwealth nations of which Papua New Guinea is a part of. Sir Bob remarked on the long-standing service rendered by the Duke of Edinburgh for more than 70 years. From records, Prince Philip had accompanied the Queen to Papua New Guinea on several occasions. His visits were then followed by Prince Charles and a few from the royal family. The GG thanked Prince Philip for a remarkable and distinguished service to the Queen and the Commonwealth. Since the national isolation strategy has been imposed, the increase in law enforcement brutality cases has been increasingly surfacing. City residents are being harassed by those enforcing the isolation strategy. Residents understand that the law enforcers are doing their job. However, they say, is there a need to enforce with harassment and violence? Yesterday morning was the case with residents of Hohola 3 here in the nation's capital.
Between 11 and 11:30 yesterday morning, several houses at Hohola 3 were raided and private properties were destroyed. Witnesses say NCDC's task force unit, police and the defense force were all part of this raid.
Have any plate numbers on? Just straight reverse, backed out and went straight into our fence, rammed into our fence, and we ran up to let him know that this is not part of your issue or what the problem you had. The policeman turned around and told me to shut up.
So I'm all shoot out now. Walk him look at him. This bullet cartridge me only me.
It all started when NCDC's task force unit stopped by to inform the vendors that betel nut selling is banned in the city. But according to Peter Minape, they did not talk to him properly, but instead threatened him. Not only did they destroy the vendors' markets, but they also destroyed several canteens, including attempting to rape women who were in their homes. Food was taken out of the canteens by the law enforcers, and now the residents are wondering how they will survive. For many who have lost their jobs due to companies downsizing because of lockdowns, this is their only way of survival.
Nothing happened. Later on, they came in a big full force and then they destroy everything in here. All family destroy, all the taga box, everything destroy in here. We don't know why. Agora bilim close to Kisim, Sambal Kukim, Kuta one or Karim, no good one or Kukim. Go inside Paiti Mama Blouse. Burkim do blosto, kisim ogara property incher losto. Mama blouse la tokto ke all marki me monta gun, all burkim me monta stick na ayene.
Law enforcement harassment has taken its toll on city residents as the enforcement of the national isolation strategy is implemented. Owner of Koita Fresh, a poultry business, experienced this when they were delivering orders on Friday.
Just talking me plus stopping me plan alarm me plan go. They ask for the money can I don't know when them start police blow when I'm rule put in finish lo when them leme me plan brukim no kisim asking me plan lo money or they ask us to pay 1,000 and then
markets are burned, women harassed on buses and asked to do inhuman things, while others are asked to eat their masks and yet others are condoned to do push-ups. Residents are now calling on the pandemic controller and the NCD governor to address this issue. They are asking, why are the law enforcers taking their hard-earned money, threatening them and their families in their homes, and destroying their properties?
We are educated citizens, we know. But there is a way you talk to people and communicate with people. And this is not it. This is not it. It's a sad case for us Papua New Guineans. It's not good.
Something come up before. This property been destroyed. Second time come up. Now I'm third time. We all man marry panim living below survive. Even though pandemic act, I'm not making awareness safety below man marry. But on the issues do where restriction we start blocking. All abrusim na, all kam na, all damage simu the property.
Simu korana, minus wala sadin mi woki buruan tu na, mitu 100% taxpayer bloya na, Papua New Guinea na. Ba David Monin ba give him right order law lo woki disla pasin o post bagop give mo disla order lo woki disla pasin minus so milagi David Monin na post bagop lo explain lo me.
Lilian Sopera-Kinea, National EMTV News.
Several people are dead and over 100 houses have burned to ashes following days of clashes between two clans in the Kainantu district of Eastern Highlands province. It is understood that the dispute between the Tapo and Kainava clans escalated into violence. This follows attempts by the district team at the council chambers to negotiate peace between the two villages regarding previous tribal fights. The people of Kainantu district are calling on the government and their member Johnson to send in law enforcement to help stop the fight as the number of casualties increase. Sources told MTV News that hand grenades were also used in the fight. All business houses in Kainantu town, including the bank, are closed. The situation is very tense right now, and PNV travelers and residents are warned to take precaution when traveling. MTV News talked to EHP PPC Michael Welly yesterday afternoon, who gave an update of the situation on the ground.
That on Thursday last week. Somehow the peace deal did not go ahead, and perhaps the two parties came prepared to fight each other. And basically what we're doing now, I just finished with the minister, member for Kainantu, just to solicit support from him so that I can at least get some more reinforcement in from perhaps our mobile squad in Hagen. We have already a squad now already deployed in Kainantu as I speak from Leh, and I just have to make arrangement for another unit to come down. So that's the situation. We're expecting further problems to continue on Monday or maybe tomorrow. Today is the Sabbath. They always respect the day. They don't fight on Saturday. So basically, there's no fight at the moment, but we're expecting fight to commence again on Monday, if not tomorrow. But at least we have some men on the ground to try and address the situation.
The Morbe Provincial Health Authority continues to get support from stakeholders, including business houses, during the COVID-19 pandemic. This includes personal protective equipment for health workers, hand sanitizers and others through cash. CocaCola Amatil in Leh is one such organization that continues to support the MPHA despite the uncertain times. Last Friday, Coca-Cola supported the Engau Hospital with 48 cases of purified water as a sign of appreciation towards the hospital.
Donate to the hospital 48 cases of our very own nature's own purified water as our token of appreciation to the hospital and the team who is in the forefront at this pandemic time. So our appreciation to that. So thank you. That's on behalf of the management and staff of CocaCola Amatil PNG.
CocaCola Amatil has been supporting the Morbe Provincial Health Authority for a number of years now. And we'd like to thank them for this support. It's not all the time that organizations come on board and support health services in this country. And for a multinational organization like CocaCola to do so, it speaks volume of CocaCola's support to our community. And on behalf of our board chairman, management, and our staff, I'd like to thank CocaCola, and we look forward to working with them.
Given that it is also common flu season in Papua New Guinea amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, there has been uncertainty over flu-like symptoms amongst the population. This has also been a factor in determining the number of people turning up for testing at designated facilities. Port Moresby General Hospital CEO Dr. Paki Molumi says the only way to put to rest all the confusion over this is to go for testing.
Because of this season where we have cold and flu, and then they are present in similar like COVID. But the most important thing is it's important to go and have yourself tested and know that it's not COVID and it's common flu. Because if you do not do that, you are going to spread the virus to another person. And if you pass it to someone older in your house or somebody who's got an underlying disease in your house, you are literally going to kill them. So it is most advisable to have tested that so that if you are tested positive, you can be isolated, and so that you prevent the disease being transmitted to other people within the environment. So yes, there are flu, but the only way to differentiate is to do a test. So we encourage everyone to come for a test. That's why anybody who comes with flu and cough-like symptoms at our emergency department, we do the test. And we are getting a positivity rate of over 50%, which means 5 or 6 people of every 10 flu-like symptoms they come, they are testing positive. So we are able to isolate them quickly so that they don't go and spread the virus. So the most important thing to do is to ever undergo a testing.
You're watching National EMTV News. After the break, we'll bring you this week's A Closer Look. Stay with us. Welcome back. From the courtrooms to closed conference rooms for negotiations, Barrick and the Marape-led government have finally agreed to reopen the Porgera Mine under a 53-47% economic benefit in favor of the state. The landowners also got a 10% equity-free carry that was promised and negotiated by Porgera Landowners Association. MTV's Adelaide Curry sat down with Barrick CEO Mark Bristow in an exclusive interview to file this week's A Closer Look.
It was all smiles at Government House as Barrick and the government finally agreed to terms that both saw fitting to settle on, and a long negotiation process coming to an end. Only this time last year, the mine was announcing the redundancy program of 3,000 plus staff. Of that, 1,500 plus were nationals. MSMEs, SMEs and business attached with the mine's operations were all up in arms, calling the government to resolve the issues with Barrick. At 5 p.m. Friday evening, the back and forth talks finally agreeing to terms to reopen the mine.
So let me thank you for your patience and for you to respond to our country's desire to harvest more. And you know, we signed this agreement within the 1992 Mining Act, but we've secured additional benefits beyond the 1992 Mining Act, and it's a testament to your ability to respond to government's desire to get more for our people. So, Mr. Bristow, thank you very much.
Objective of achieving is we want to be the most valued mining company in the world. That means we want to be acceptable for future generations. And so no longer is mining something that is exploiting the benefits of a host country for one single interest group, but that we've, by working together, as the Honourable Prime Minister pointed out, we've created something I believe is a good example for emerging countries.
Terms of the reopening of the mine include a 51% and 49% equity stake in favor of the state. Of the 51% by the state, the landowners have a 10% free carry equity added on with the 5% parked under Mineral Resource Enga, where Enga provincial government has 2.5% and landowners have the other 2.5%. Over the lifespan of the mine, the economic benefits expected to be 53-47%.
Forward to a quarterly update with the press.
I had the opportunity to interview Barrick CEO Mark Bristow after the signing of the deal, who said the agreement showed their willingness as a global mining giant to evolve.
So the motivation is definitely to get it done as efficiently as possible. We have a series of agreements now. The framework agreement guides the next set of agreements, which is the implementation agreement, which is the next step of the framework agreement, which governs our relationship. And then, of course, the standard ones, shareholder agreement, operating agreement, and some smaller agreements. But those are standard industry practice. Once we've got all those done, we've then committed, as long as there's no delays created by either force majeure or the legislation process, we've said we'll have the mine up and running by 7 months.
Barrick will take on the full costing of the reopening of the mine, which will look at around US $300 million. Prime Minister James Marape pleased with this outcome, as the terms allow a loan agreement between the state and Barrick, where the 36% equity will be mortgaged to Barrick at a 0% until BNL makes its money back.
36 it'll ultimately become, so when BNL recoup all its capital, and we start with the government, as the Prime Minister said today, earning more than BNL because it's driven by taxes. But over time, we grow our portion of the cash flow up to 47-53 split. And so that's what makes this agreement such a unique agreement, is that there's a commitment to share the economics on a fixed basis. So if we earn more than 47, we will make it up by paying across to the state group, the PNG group, and vice versa.
But what is also interesting about the deal is a 10-year exit plan has been put in place to allow the state to buy out 49% equity of Barrick and Zijing.
We would, and then it's a fair departure. And so there's no more risk to our shareholders of being pushed out, and at the same time it gives the government of Papua New Guinea an unfettered right to remove a partner. Of course, we would like to build that relationship and build a better partnership that is long-living, and hopefully even venture together to look for new opportunities in Papua New Guinea.
Mr. Bristow stating he hopes the mine can reopen in the next 7 months, as the risk of the underground mining being water damaged increases over time. This also means recruitment of staff and the opportunity, in what Mr. Bristow says, to nationalize every aspect of the mine.
As you can imagine, screening, re-employing people. This gives me an opportunity to ensure that Barrick's commitment to preferring community people on an equal basis, and also really looking to invest in younger professional Papua New Guineans as part of our business. My intention is to really work to make Porgera
the landowner groups that have outstanding concerns under the previous SML.
I'm happy once again, as the Minister said, to deal and work with the devil I know, and that's Barrick. But let me say this, without the Prime Minister's leadership, we wouldn't have got this far.
New Porgera mine, we have development forum which is still outstanding. We have MOA which is still outstanding. So that's up to the government and my department to mitigate through that.
Especially concerns around resettlement and environmental issues.
And outstanding legacy issues, all matters belonging to old Porgera remains in the old Porgera basket, including environment, including resettlement and others. But in the new Porgera, with the new Barrick and the new Porgera going forward, we've also captured where we will give our fullest support to address these issues, or together we could satisfy those issues that has been outstanding for many, many years since the first dark took place in the Porgera Mountains.
With those commitments, and we've committed that we are there to stand good and scrutiny about if there are any third-party accusations. But you remember that Porgera is a very large, long-life operation, and so most of the impact that's been made in the mining will be mined away.
Meanwhile, SML 11 will be tested in all aspects to see if it is workable for both the operator and the state.
We've agreed in the agreement is that we will all work to develop a sound SML, and we've committed to work with the government to stress test, to ensure whether SML 11 fits the criteria of a sound SML, and it respects all the legal obligations that any Papua New Guinean SML would have.
But for many, especially the Impact sub-clans and former work employees of PJV, this is a sigh of relief, as finally there is something to look forward to.
Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The PNG Hunters notched their second win of the Intra Super Cup season after beating the Mackay Cutters last night. Here are the highlights.
PNG Hunters moved into the Intrust Super Cup top 4 last night when they overpowered the Cutters 26 points to 14 in an entertaining clash in Mackay. The victory mirrored the Hunters' remarkable start to the year as they overcame some early setbacks to register their second win from 3 matches. Winger Brandon Gutuno broke his arm in the 3rd minute, forcing the Hunters into a quick reshuffle before Mackay opened the score in 6 minutes later with a try to centre Michael Bell. But the Hunters made ground through the middle as Captain Ila Alu led the charge and his teammates followed. Samuel Yagib and Sylvester Nano scored tries to push the Hunters ahead before Junior Rao's 27th minute try gave the visitors a handy lead. Coach Matt Church, in a statement after the game, said he was pleased with the start given the challenges of the unusual circumstances this season. He said he was proud of the boys as they stuck to the game plan, saying he wanted to challenge them through the middle and in doing achieved some good results. Gutuno, who scored 3 tries against the Ipswich in round 2, was taken to hospital and diagnosed a broken arm. This will sideline him for several weeks. His teammates dug deep though, withstanding Mackay's fast start to the second half that pushed them within touching distance with a 6-8 scoreline. But tries to Watson Boas and Edwin Ipape moved the Hunters clear before a late Mackay try through Kyle Krizanski-Kennedy. Hunters winning the game 26 points to 14, moving up 1 spot in the Intrust Super Cup ladder. The Hunters will host the Falcons at Runaway Bay in round 4 next weekend. Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
Papua New Guinea professional boxer Junior Kaukoraka says there needs to be more corporate and government support toward the sport for boxers to improve and better represent the country. Similar sentiments were also shared by boxing promoter Ben Micah.
With the World Boxing Association WBA Asia Super Featherweight title on the line 2 weeks from now, yesterday saw the arrival of Roldan Aldea of the Philippines, who will be the opponent for Junior Kaukoraka for the vacant World Boxing Association WBA Asia Super Featherweight title. Roldan will be in mandatory 14-day quarantine at the Sanctuary Hotel in Port Moresby. Aldea is fighting out of the Eloda gym in Philippines. While his arrival signals the countdown to the bout, Junior Kaukoraka, his PNG opponent, says there is still more to be done for professional boxers in the country, with Raka pointing out that PNG boxers need the right environment to succeed.
People boxers, people stop. Like people sa facing planted challenges, lo boxing chol, but lo get another sports. Where by na game kind lifestyle, where some narapla all narapla developing country, where all gat lang ema. Like all gat our equipment, facilities, blue training, na sila kan. But lo mipla sa struggle. Mipla struggle straight lo. How lo ba mipla kamanta lo sila stage.
Patron of Oceania Fight Promotions Ben Micah, whose promotion is hosting the bout, says there needs to be more support to the sport and boxers must also adopt more innovative ways to train.
The government, the Ministry of Sports, the Sports Foundation, Surukim can talk along with sponsors. Please continue to give support to professional boxing. I'm asking all the clubs and the trainers and the coaches to find creative and innovative ways to prepare your boys. All two by can improve na kamantap na join the rank. Bloraka now amigo pass longen.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues with more after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The Motu Koita West Netball Association held its grand final matches for the competition's 7 divisions yesterday at Hanuabada Village. The competition was able to see out what has been a quiet year for sports in the nation's capital, concluding on a high note to the relief of players, spectators and organisers.
It was grand final day for the Motu Koita West Netball Association, as teams from the competition's 7 divisions battled it out to see who would claim the title of premiers for this season, with matches held at Hanuabada, drawing vocal support from the local community. This season also saw the introduction of mixed and men's division to the competition, as the association looks to build interest in the wider community.
Well, it's been a very hectic season, very challenging, I should say. We had a few complaints, we had some judiciary matters to address, but I have a judiciary panel that consists of the judiciary chairperson, and I sit in as the president, and we have one of our Maramasa from the church who is part of the judiciary panel. So we must be seen to be an equal or a balanced judiciary panel. So otherwise it's been good.
With the term of the current executives of the MKW Netball Association drawing to a close, President Kori Tua Navuru thanked her team for their support and hard work, ensuring the successful hosting and conclusion of this year's competition.
This season is also our last year for me and my executive. We have an AGM in October, and that's when the re-election will be. And I'd like to take this time to thank my executive, who have been the strength and the backbone for me. I couldn't have done it without the support of them. So I'd like to take this time to thank all my hardworking executive. And more importantly, I always thank my God for giving me the strength and the wisdom and the knowledge to keep going as a community leader.
Final results in the A-grade grand final saw Lahara 600 defeat HB Tigers 10 goals to 9, while in the men's final it was the same goal margin as Drifters defeated Lahara 600 10 goals to 9. Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports. This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
A look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region. Partly cloudy with patchy rain, then possible inland morning fog in Port Moresby. Partly cloudy in Daru. Cloudy periods with patchy rain in Kerma and Popondetta. Cloudy with brief showers in Alotau. In the Mamasa region, cloudy with a few overnight showers in Leh, Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, and some rain showers in Wau. In the New Guinea Islands region, cloudy with some showers in Lorengau and Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul. Some showers can be expected in Kimbe and Boka. And in the Highlands region, cloudy periods with patchy rain in Mount Hagen, Wabeg and Mendi, and cloudy periods then morning fog in Goroka and Kundiawa.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Sunday, the 11th of April, 2021. From all of us here at EMTV, have a safe working week, pleasant viewing. Good night.